And welcome everybody to MonsterVision. My name's John English, and we've got the whole gang here for a special off-season edition of MonsterVision. Joining me this evening is Brian Rivera. Brian, how you doing?
Great, John. Glad to be here.
Kala Mullaney as well. You are considerably more relaxed than any of us.
Maybe a little bit more than what I'm supposed to be, but yeah, I feel a little bit better now. The season's done. Everybody went home for the most part, and I thought we had a great season, so I'm good to go.
And Darren Redmond with us, making a rare on-camera appearance tonight. Darren, how's it going?
Doing well. Great to see you all again, looking healthy and safe, and great to be here.
So, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. This might be the last MonsterVision we have to do remotely like this. We might be able to get together here pretty quick, hopefully.
Oh, that'll be a blessing.
Absolutely. So, guys, as all our viewers know, the season is over. The Monsters finished the season Pacific Division champions, both in the regular season and the playoffs. Went to Hampton Roads, Virginia, for the USPHL National Tournament that was ultimately won by the Charlotte Rush. The Monsters did exit in the first round there, but a great experience for the guys, getting to go to nationals, especially after a couple seasons where we wondered if anybody was going to get to go anywhere. It was great to see the guys get to experience that.
For the boys to get out there, especially messing up the season last year, the way that it ended. Yeah, it was great to see them be able to go out to the national championship and then to head out east, take a look at what the other side of the nation's playing.
I thought for our group it was a good learning experience, because we've pretty well done everything out here that we can do as far as, being in first place in the division, winning the division, all that stuff. So it was a good experience for our boys to head out east and see a different style of hockey where, as Coach Key put it, and we'll get into it a little bit later, those teams don't quit playing. Once the score gets up by 3 or 4 goals, they continue to play. And I know that's just something that we have to work on as an organization.
I think that for a year where there was so many obstacles put in place, and the Western States League kind of hiatus, it was a spectacular season. Wonderful hockey. They won their division. They went out east. I could say they represented themselves well. They know what they need to do going forward. Certainly didn't embarrass themselves, and they belong in this league. It was a wonderful thing to see.
And Darren, you touched on something there that was really one of the highlights for me, because I saw this as a chance for them to not only get to see what the teams on the other side of the country are doing and the talent level over there, but also, for some of those teams that, maybe kind of halfway chuckled under their breath at the WSHL teams moving up to the USPHL, for those teams to see that, hey, out here on the West Coast, we've got some real talent that we're bringing to the table, and giving them a chance to see just what we're made of as well.
Oh, I agree, because look, one thing is clear: you could not take a nap on the Fresno Monsters and expect to just mail in a victory. You have to skate, you got to play, and that was very clear. I think even when they went to East Coast into the Nationals.
Indeed. And one of the things that I definitely wanted to touch on here as well, we talked throughout the season and talked at the start of the season, had an inexperienced coach coming in Cody Key, had just been a player, not a season and a half, 2 seasons prior, coming in. The concerns were, is he going to be able to pull this off? Is he going to be able to put a team on the ice that is able to be competitive, that's going to be able to stay focused? Is he going to have the respect of his players, having just been one, essentially? I think he proved a lot of those doubts wrong. Guys, Brian, I'll start with you. What do you think of the job that Coach Key did this season?
I thought for just like for those things that you mentioned about him, just being a player, not having any experience, I thought he did a tremendous job. And we had a little conversation with him there at the end of the season. I can't remember if it was during playoffs or the last series there with San Diego, but we had a little talk during the intermission, and he seemed to has grown as a coach. He knew what he was doing at the beginning, and he saw his faults, and he tried to make the adjustments. Because, like he said in the interview, all he was worried about was winning. He didn't care about what was happening to the byproduct. As far as playing, Canute for 14 straight games or whatever. He didn't care. He just wanted to win. And I know as he said, as the season went along, he realized that he was going to have to make changes because he needed to rely on some of those other guys. So, but overall for his first year as a coach, I give him, a solid B effort.
And Kala, what did you think of the job that Cody Key did as the coach of the Monsters this season?
I thought he did an outstanding job. Any doubts that I had, he pretty much wiped them out. And anybody that was eye rolling when the announcement was made, I'm sure they're eating crow now about it. I thought he did an outstanding job. He showed great maturity. He took the reins and led that team to go to the Nationals. And I think he did an outstanding job. I don't think we could have asked anything more from him.
Darren?
I have to concur. And you saw the metamorphosis that happened. He went from a player who's now coaching to a coach of players. You saw that really in the second half of the season when some of the new players came in, some of the implementation that he put in, different things that he was able to do, move people around. Heck, he moved people from offense to defense. He moved players from second line to third line. And then what I really liked was in between periods, you would see he'd make adjustments. He was coaching, and he did a wonderful job, I think, overall. I think Fresno has somebody in that bench now for quite a while.
Move people around, move people out. I mean, there were a couple instances where he was not afraid to sit a guy down if there was a reason to do it. And that to me was when, we saw that a couple times early in the second half of the season, like you said, where that was to me where the light switch came on really that, okay, he's turning a corner here and really taking charge. And anybody who happened to see a Monsters practice, especially kind of toward the later portion of the season, when we think about those games where the bad penalties were starting to cost the Monsters wins here and there, he was holding these guys' feet to the fire, and it was tremendous to see. Darren, you mentioned the late season additions, mid-season additions. When I think about that, I specifically think about the addition of Cedrickson Okatondo. He was just tremendous during the time that he was here with the Monsters, and so many additions. Guys, what do you make of this is the second year in a row where we see those reinforcements come in? The Monsters have a knack for bringing these guys in that make a difference and make an immediate impact. And Darren, we'll start with you. What do you think is the cause of that, really, in terms of just this ability to see these guys that are gonna fit?
I think Brian and you, John, both would agree. When it comes to Cedric, who was probably mediocre at best, it was all about the billet father that he had. I think that was more than anything else. The lights went off. Sat him down one day. I believe he made him a fluff and a bologna sandwich. He cut in a triangle shape, and then the rest was history. No, I think what it is, there's good contacts. The Monsters are not afraid to make changes, and what happens is we must have a decent reputation out there because agents are not afraid to bring their players who are quality players, frontline players, to come here to play. And, Cedric, Medrick, some of these other guys, it was just wonderful to watch them. Second year in a row. Remember, what was his name? Gabelson last year came in and just changed the dynamic of the team. It was wonderful to see.
Exactly. Brian?
Yeah, for many, it was just it's a great change of pace because I think towards the end of the year, guys kind of get comfortable in their setting of where they're at, in their spot in the lineup. And I think when you cycle guys in and out it makes everybody raise their game. And when you raise your game, nothing bad seems to happen that way. Everybody just seems to get that much better.
Kala, what do you think? The late season additions, the late season lineup changes, the impact of those is tremendous.
First off, I have to completely agree with Darren's assessment of the billet dad being the one and only reason why Cedricson did so well towards the as an addition. And then I would also go in to say, even bringing up Medrick, his billet dad was an integral part in him doing so well during the season. No, the reason why I say that is, of course, I was Cedricson's billet dad, and Medrick was Redmond's dad. Or Billet's son, sorry. But the kid on the ice was a great addition, because I think it brought that offensive defenseman that the Monsters are looking for. The kid could bring the puck up the ice and top speed and put the puck in the net. And he wasn't afraid to mix it up for sure. He was pretty mature. He just turned 17 like a couple months prior to getting here. So he was pretty mature for his age, and his hockey sense was above most players that I've seen come through here. On a personal note with him, the kid was great. He would come home. He's pretty much quiet to himself. We joked around with it a lot. He didn't partake in a lot of the stuff that a lot of the other players wanted to partake in. With he wanted to stay home. He did his homework. He was definitely a mama's boy for sure. He loved his mom, would talk to him every time after he got home after the game. So I give mad props to those parents, his parents, for doing a really, really good job with him growing up.
So next season is going to be here before we know it. And, there were a lot of things, and Brian, Kala, you're in the booth with us as well. Darren, you are as close to the team as anybody. We all know what some of the challenges were this past season, whether it be some of those personality clashes, whether it be on ice lapses in judgment or attention span. You got to take the good with the bad. What are some things that you expect to see next year? If you had to, we'll say, let's name one thing that you want to see improved or changed next year when it comes to the Fresno Monsters approach to the game of hockey. Brian?
I think for everybody on this podcast, because I know we talked about it quite a bit at the end of the year, and the big word is discipline. Discipline off the ice, discipline on the ice, to make sure you're taking care of your body, getting the proper rest, getting the proper sleep, the proper nutrition. And then, of course, on the ice, making sure we're not taking those penalties that are costing us at the end of the game to make the games a lot closer than what they really need to be. Most of the time people come out here, games out here, you're going to have a 2 or 3 game series. There's no reason to take a 5-minute major penalty on a Friday night game when we have 2 more games against them, where you can, really exact some revenge on them for 2 games, rather than in a split-second moment on a Friday night that will be forgotten.
Concur with everything that Brock Beaver just said. If I could improve on one thing on the ice, and that is the momentary lapses, and I think that might be what Coach Cody was talking about, that our team would take. We're up by 2 goals, and then we decide, hey, I want to get into a fight. Well, I'm going to take a lazy penalty. These lapses of judgment that then make the game closer than they need be, and then you risk injury because of that, and suspensions and everything that goes with it. A disciplined team doesn't do that, and I'm sure that will come. But I do want to bring this up real quick. The outstanding job U3 and James Carr does as well in the booth. This is junior hockey, and I've seen ECHL, AHL games where the professionalism that you 3 bring to the booth is wonderful. People know your names, and they know why, because you care about the game. You give, you each have different personalities. You bring a flair to the game, but you're not the game. The game is the game. You are everything a booth should be. John, that starts with you, and then Kala and Brian, what you bring in terms of Brian with the color and collab in between the periods. I can't wait to next year when we're in Selland Arena, when we get to elite, get to do that and more so. Break that fourth wall with the experience on television, through the internet, in the stands, and everything else. You guys are great.
Well, thank you for that, Darren. That was, I'll be sure to get that 20 in the mail to you.
Yes.
Kala, changes you want to see next year, whether it be on the ice, off the ice, both, changes you want to see?
Not necessarily a change. I think you guys have already said the discipline thing. We've beaten that thing over and over and over pretty much every game. I think what I would love to see next season is got to be the fans. We've got to have people back in the rinks, whether it's Gateway or it's Selland. We just got to bring them back. It's one thing to be able to get to see them play, but it's a whole different world when you got fans in there cheering, and the boys have something other to play for than themselves. They're the hometown fans. We tell everybody, man, you got to play at Selland, and it's been almost 2 years roughly about until we get to play it in it again. So I think that's what we need back as the fans for sure.
And, we had a couple folks in the building toward the end of the season, whether it was billet families or, of course, the crew that works at Gateway and those folks, but yeah, you're absolutely 100% right. Selland Arena and having the full crowd in there. One item that I was really proud of the Monsters, this year's Monsters team, I was really proud of them for was the ability to get it done without having that ace in their pocket that Selland Arena sometimes is in terms of the intimidation factor when these other teams come in. I have heard about it over the years that teams don't like playing there that are coming in from out of town. It's just a different atmosphere. It's loud, it's big, it's intimidating. And the fact that this year's team was able to get it done without that, I can only imagine what they're going to do with that. And with that, let's talk about Selland, because, we're still dealing with, social distancing and those sorts of things and whatever. And I don't want to get into too much speculation. I don't want to get the powers that be and the decision makers mad at us for speculating too much. But the hope is obviously that we would be able to start the season in the fall with some games at Selland, maybe all the games at Selland, and then we hear talk about Selland possibly being sold and all of that. But that aside, I understand that there are potentially some plans in the works to try to get us back to Selland for this upcoming season. Guys, what do you know? What have you heard through the grapevine of late? And what do you think it means to be able to get back there?
Well, I know 100% fact. There is no doubt that I have no knowledge of anything that's going to happen with Selland Arena next year. So who knows? I mean, you know what I mean? It's nobody knows really, I think, but we just need to get back there. That's all. That's the 100% what needs to happen.
Here's what I could say as fact. And Kala, in his wonderful way, said it. All things being equal, the Monsters want to be back at Selland Arena, and they're focused on doing it. There is a hockey-friendly mayor that we have right now, and there's a good relation between the Monsters and Selland Arena. I would not be surprised to find us there, even if it's much like it was a couple years ago, January, February weekend kind of thing. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, speaking with ownership and Jeff Blair, just as a matter of fact, last night, that is his goal, is to get us back to Selland Arena. So he said right now it's still real early in the preliminary talks of it happening, but as we've all hoped, and especially for a guy like me and John, like yourself, going to Selland Arena and watching hockey is a lot of my youth, and a lot of the reasons I fell in love with hockey is seeing hockey down there, and I know it's a great place to be and watch. So I do know that ownership is trying and will try their darndest to get us back to Sound Arena at some point. So, and going along with the atmosphere and everything else, talking to working in the pro shop before the games and during the weekend and stuff, and talking with the referees. Even the referees like coming to Fresno and being even at Gateway, because with our fans in our small building, even them they're not intimidated, but they know that it's going to be a great atmosphere to play. So kudos to you fans for coming to Gateway and bringing your energy and making it, a tough place to play.
Absolutely. And there for decades there's been no tougher place to play for opposition than Selland Arena. So I hope just like you guys that we can get back there. I mean, let's face it, the Monsters are basically the primary tenant of that building and have been for a couple years. There is not another consistent item that takes place at Selland Arena in downtown Fresno in terms of sports. Aside from the Grizzlies over at Chukchansi, this is the only game in town for a good portion of the year. And I can't see why the two parties wouldn't be able to come to terms. Jeff Blair definitely wants the Monsters down there if the situation is right. And, the city has got to want to have some revenue coming in through that property. So the Monsters are it. And I think especially once we're able to invite fans back in, we're going to see a rush of enthusiasm to get back down there and see some hockey in person, the way it was meant to be seen here in Fresno. There's no better building for the Monsters to be playing in than there.
Agreed.
No,
I mean, it's the saying, right? Little money coming in is a lot better than a lot of money going out. So, it's costing somebody some money to keep those buildings there. Some way you gotta pay for something somehow, and I think the Monsters is the way to do it.
Yeah, we might start by our core fan group here, maybe making a phone call down to our city leaders and expressing how much it means to have the Monsters at Sound Arena. Maybe we'll gain some traction that way as well.
If I could just step in for a second and follow up in what Brian and Claude just said, that's it. Write that email, make that phone call. But here's the truth. If and when tickets for selling go on sale, buy them quickly. Do not wait around.
Exactly.
In case it happens. Strength is in ticket sales. Strength is in numbers. Corporate businesses out there, small and medium-sized businesses, do what you can to support the team that your father, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather went to see, whether it was the Falcons and now the Monsters. That's hockey here in Fresno, played at Selland Arena. So go support your team, support your city, buy your tickets early.
Exactly. And I'll echo that. And anybody who wants to reach out to city leadership, it's super easy to figure out how to do. Fresno.gov, go to the website. Everybody's phone number and email is there. It'll take you just a few minutes to reach out and tell people, the people that make those decisions, how important hockey in Fresno and in downtown Fresno specifically is to you. And like Darren was saying, buy those tickets when they go on sale. Fresno is a walk-up town. I've been working in the entertainment and hospitality business as my day job for 25 years. Fresno is a walk-up town, but it doesn't have to be. And in situations like this, where we are trying to make sure that our voice is heard, it needs to not be. You need to act when that opportunity comes up. Guys, that pretty much does it for what I had, prepared to talk about, but it's been a while since we've gotten together. Any closing thoughts this evening as we've got the whole band together here, except for James. Hi, James, wherever you are. I know you're going to do a fantastic job, editing this episode together as he always does.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. Back to you guys.
I think we need to do this more often. I think the people want it. I hear the demand on the corners of the streets asking where the MonsterVision's at. And what happened to John? Is he still alive? What's the deal? You know, is he in rehab? And
I needed time off to grow my hair back.
Yeah, there you go. You know, did they all get COVID and they can't talk anymore?
Oh,
There's, the conspiracy theorists are out there, and they're we got to show them that we're still alive. I think we got to do this more often.
I think it's just wonderful to see you guys and talk hockey, and there's so much that will go on in terms of getting players and what it's going to look like, and you guys are the voice. I mean, for the last 2 years, John, it's your voice echoing in the head of the parents of the kids on the ice, the family members, the people who love hockey here in Fresno. And this year, that solo became an orchestra with you, Brian, and with you, Kala. And you guys are running a little bit of a symphony, and that James and I get to watch every night. And I hear from the fans, keep up the good work that you're doing.
There is one thing I do want to say, and I apologize, Brian, for jumping on you. I think I speak for all of us, send out our condolences to Jay Johnson, who lost his father. So I just want to say, buddy, we're all here for you whenever you need us.
absolutely. Jay is a tremendous member of the Fresno hockey community. And that is, I did see that as well. Sending all of our best to Jay.
Yeah, as no one right now, as I was thinking about that, I saw his happenstance on on Facebook, and just to think about, I met Jay ago as he was playing for the Falcons and opening up his first hockey shop, All Pro Hockey on Blackstone, and I talked to him for a few weeks before I left to go play my junior career my last year, and then come back, and then he moves into Gateway and does a tremendous job for basically 20 plus years running the hockey shop and keeping the hockey in Fresno alive. And then in 2009, his idea to bring a junior hockey team to Fresno to keep hockey alive here in Fresno for all of us people that love the sport. We can never pay Jay enough, say enough about the man. He has truly changed hockey here in Fresno, and at least for myself and my family and things like that, we'll be forever grateful.
We will indeed. And guys, the season's going to be upon us. We'll blink and the off season will be over. And I look forward to, in the meantime, getting together with you guys again here on MonsterVision and talking over some things as we think of them, as we hear things through the grapevine with regards to the Monsters and everything hockey. We'll be here to bring it to everyone. We've got some great content coming up this off season. I'm hunting down some old favorites that we can talk to as well. Some great guests and some great stories to come. Kala, Darren, Brian, it is as always a privilege to talk with you guys. It's a privilege to work with you guys and to, I'm looking forward to season number 3 for me with the Monsters coming up here in the fall. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, as they used to say. We'll be back with more MonsterVision in the coming months. But for now, for Kala Mullaney, Darren Redmond, Brian Rivera, and James Carr, I'm John English. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on MonsterVision. Be sure to like us, follow us, and share us on all your favorite social media platforms. We'll see you next time.